The woman sees a large pit in the wasteland. Walking closer to look carefully, her heart suddenly lurches. That's clearly a giant footprint, hundreds of times larger than her entire body. What kind of thing could leave such a mark? She immediately reports to Captain Mike. Mike leads the team to the footprint, questioning the nearby traumatized elderly couple. The old man recalls the dog barking frantically at dusk. Then the house suddenly shook violently, like being brutally hammered by a giant sledge. They had just hidden in the basement for shelter, when the entire house collapsed with a thunderous crash. Crawling out of the ruins, they saw broken walls and debris everywhere. Two giant pits were clearly imprinted on the ground, exactly the shape of these giant footprints. Mike determines it's an unknown giant creature. They track along the footprints all the way. After 20 kilometers, the footprints vanish into thin air. Thermal imaging scans the surroundings with no results. The barren mountain ranges are deathly silent. It couldn't have just evaporated into thin air. Anna remembers the professor who studies giant creatures. The professor proposed the mountain monster hypothesis years ago, but was dismissed as a madman and locked in a mental hospital. Now the giant monster's appearance proves his theory. Anna finds the professor and requests help. The professor comes to where the footprints disappeared. He keenly perceives the soil's abnormal smell, takes out his treasured old map for comparison, realizes the terrain before him doesn't match at all. Even more bizarre is there's an extra mountain. The professor carefully checks against the map. Anna suddenly feels a chill down her spine, abruptly turns back to look at that new mountain. A giant eye actually opens on the mountain body, staring at them coldly. The mountain range begins to move before everyone's eyes. Rocky skin tumbles down rustling, revealing the giant monster's true appearance. Everyone flees in terror onto the helicopter. The giant monster stands before them like a mountain peak. The helicopter is as small as an insect at its feet. Fortunately, the giant monster doesn't launch an attack. They manage to escape the scene narrowly. The giant monster's appearance causes massive panic. The mountain range it occupies is the lifeline of the railway project. The professor strongly advises the higher-ups not to disturb it, seeking peaceful coexistence with the ancient race. However, railway interests are above everything. The higher-ups brazenly order the military to eliminate the target. The army sets up an ambush at the forest edge, cold cannon barrels aimed at the giant monster's inevitable path. Professor Anna knows conflict is unavoidable, can only pray the giant monster won't appear tonight. But deep in the night, the giant shadow finally arrives as expected. Its massive body stops at the forest edge, as if smelling the heavy scent of danger. The professor shouts not to fire, but it's too late. The commander decisively gives the attack order. Shells hitting the giant monster are like mosquito bites, not only useless but completely enraging it. The giant monster roars and charges toward the ambush position. The commander frantically orders full retreat. Tanks fire furiously trying to block it. The giant monster sweeps away the gunfire with its arm like brushing dust. Soldiers scatter in terror looking for cover, but forget the giant monster can smell their scent. It easily grabs the hiding soldiers, coldly throws them into its abyss-like giant mouth. This bloody scene is utterly horrifying. Mike pulls Anna, desperately fleeing, but the professor stops and turns around. He faces the enraged giant monster, slowly raises both hands high,